Hey everyone, my name is Martin and welcome to 2K Central. I finished Mafia 3 on Sunday and I've had a few days to gather my thoughts. Disclaimer, I have mixed feelings towards the game. My playthrough was riddled with bugs and game crashes that unfortunately affected my experience with the game overall. So here is my review of Mafia 3. It's 1968 and after years of combat in Vietnam, Lincoln Clay knows this truth: family isn't who you're born with, it's who you die for. Back home in New Bordeaux, Lincoln is set on escaping a criminal past, but when his second family, the Black Mob, is betrayed and wiped out by Sal Marcano and the Italian Mafia, Lincoln builds a new family on the ashes of the old and blazes a path of military-grade vengeance on those who are responsible. The game undeniably creates extremely special narrative moments through some incredible acting that rivals even the best games of this generation. I felt extremely touched by the documentary form of storytelling as key characters from Lincoln's life showcased an emotional recreation of the events of 1968, with Lincoln's spiritual uncle, Father James, fighting back the tears as he expresses his feelings towards Lincoln's road to vengeance against Sal Marcano.
It's a damn shame what happened. It breaks my heart.
The opening drew me in massively. I wanted more. The truth, what happened to Lincoln Clay. During this introduction, I learned that this is not a cliche revenge story. Neither is it solely the story of Lincoln's rise, nor Sal Marcano's fall. Mafia 3 delves deeper by exploring the inner workings of the criminal mind, presenting us with subtle questions throughout. Is a man born to be a monster, or was it his toxic surroundings that ultimately defined him, by turning him into the one thing he hates the most?
You are who you are. No point in arguing with yourself about it.
Mafia 3's story made me think, ask questions, and the answers I received were as beautiful as they were painful. The open world. The story is presented within Hangar 13's fictional version of New Orleans, New Bordeaux in 1968, completely engulfed in crime, government corruption, and racial tension. The city itself contains 10 unique districts, each with their own distinct style, from the dangerous, alligator-infested bayou to the nightlife and the soul of the French ward. The game offers a diverse range of sights to see, and no shortage of open buildings to explore, including over 161 collectibles to be found. Everything from Playboys, album covers, to Vargas paintings, though the graphics outside of cutscenes do leave a lot to be desired. After 2 hours of exploration, I soon realised the world is filled with dull, muddy and boring textures. The lighting in particular is seemingly random, the sun rays reflect against the wet streets, leaving me blinded and not by its beauty. Yes, New Bordeaux is a detailed open world, though sadly it feels empty to some extent. With a low population and traffic density, it leads to thoughts of a fantastic narrative and characters living in a virtually lifeless city. Heavy themes. The game refuses to hide from the reality of the era. While playing the game, I found it genuinely difficult at first, dealing with the racism aimed at our hard-nosed protagonist, who painfully already accepted how things were. Mafia 3 paints a dark and gloomy picture of the times, a true reflection onto society that is sometimes difficult to gaze into. Acts of discrimination are presented in gameplay through the police's inability to respond to crimes in poor neighbourhoods. In contrast, commit a crime in the manicured lawns of Frisco Fields, and you'll find that the police response time is practically immediate. Racist store owners will aggressively threaten Lincoln to leave the premises solely due to the colour of his skin. The game invites you to think about racism, though it handles it with care. A tedious mission structure. Upon seizing control of 3 districts, I soon realised I had experienced everything Mafia 3 had to offer from a gameplay perspective. Taking over districts of the city requires repeating the same process to advance the story. Damage the Italian Mafia by destroying their cash flow, killing their enforcers, and stealing their resources around the city. In turn, this will cause a reaction from the Italian Mafia, forcing the resident racket boss to address the situation. It was fun at first, though despite the sheer size of the city, you're forced to deal with the racket boss in an already cleared out location, seemingly making the occasion feel less special. This process is repeated roughly 18 times throughout the game. To say it grows rather tedious is an understatement. After 10 hours of playtime, I had felt as if I were going through the motions solely to reach the next piece of storytelling. Luckily, taking these rackets accounted for something. Gaining full control over the district triggered a sit-down with Lincoln's underbosses. Together, Cassandra, Burke and Vito expressed why Lincoln should choose them over the other, offering unique in-game perks, weapons, and the possibility of influencing your story. Connections are formed with associates. In turn, Lincoln can call them for support. A mobile weapon store, Italian muscle, and a car delivery system are available at any time, which are enjoyable, well-executed features that are somewhat overshadowed by the game's lack of creativity elsewhere. Extremely weak AI. The repetitive nature of these objectives are highlighted even further, as Mafia 3's gameplay mechanics fail to offer a source of variety. The game has a simple cover system with potentially fun shooting mechanics that are completely wasted on overly predictable AI. While in stealth, they tend to stand still or walk a specific pattern that soon becomes simple to read. Their inability to judge each situation is almost laughable. Kill their friend and you'll find them mindlessly wandering towards his dead body to investigate, ignoring the very reason he's dead in the first place. Their stupidity grants you the option to chain together multiple kills. In doing so, I didn't feel like a badass. I'm left wondering how the Italian Mafia is even running New Bordeaux in the first place. Furthermore, Lincoln is capable of viewing enemies through walls, allowing you to track their movements. Seemingly during Lincoln's time in Vietnam, the most valuable skills he had acquired was enhanced vision and the ability to whistle, which alerts a single enemy AI, compelling him to investigate the sound. In turn, you slit his throat, rinse, repeat, and you've cleared the location. Therefore, in terms of a challenge, the AI undoubtedly do not offer one, even on the hardest difficulty. The driving gave me the blues. The majority of my time spent in New Bordeaux consisted of driving long distances to each mission start point, something I had become accustomed to from playing the previous title in the series. Therefore, I knew Mafia 3's reliance on solid driving mechanics was vital to this game's success. At first, switching to simulation mode, the cars felt heavy, even difficult to control. But through eventual upgrades from Lincoln's underbosses, I quickly realized that Mafia 3's driving was no longer a challenge. Player, NPC, and car damage in general from collisions are virtually non-existent. Therefore, I had zero incentive to focus while driving because there was no consequences for crashing at high speeds, and I soon lost interest. Overall, the driving was fun at first, but ultimately felt off and somewhat streamlined. All of the small things. Thankfully, major positives were gained from my time spent driving in Mafia 3. The game offers no shortage of incredible music. I found myself singing along to Elvis Presley, Sam Cooke and the Rolling Stones. The list goes on. A soundtrack that is undeniably impressive. Hangar 13 also added a minimal amount of small features that I've grown to love. While driving through a tunnel, I experienced a small interference with the radio signal, disrupting my enjoyment of the song, but a tiny detail that goes a long way in my eyes. NPCs on occasion would interact with Lincoln, who in turn would also respond. Though I should note, small features that made Mafia 2 great were also excluded, that perhaps would have enhanced the overall experience Mafia 3 offers, in particular, the police shoot to kill in this game. To conclude, Hangar 13 clearly had some interesting ideas on where to take the Mafia series from a gameplay perspective. Sadly and simply put, they were unable to execute specific mechanics correctly, and personally the open world lacks life. Tedious gameplay, weak AI, poor graphics, easily manipulated mechanics, and the numerous amount of bugs and game crashes have all combined together to undeniably discredit the work of their writing team and voice actors. To summarize, I believe Mafia 3 is an okay game with a great story that was ultimately rushed to meet a deadline. The negatives outweigh the positives. Our rating is 7 out of 10. But yeah, let us know how you feel about the game. Did you like it? Hate it? Let us know in the comments. This is just my personal opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right. I'm expressing how I feel about the game overall. My playthrough was plagued by too many game crashes and some dumbass glitches that ruined emotional scenes with characters that just took me out of the moment. Overall, I feel like it's a buggy, unfinished game, and I cannot score it highly due to these reasons. The positives are extremely high with the music, characters, and overall the story, but in regards to everything else, I believe other games have simply done it better. But thank you so much for watching, and for more honest videos like this, I guess that's my new outro, it's not really. Stay tuned here on 2K Central. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you. Bye. Bye.
Everything's absolutely splendid.
Walking down the street and you hear that heavy beat.